to Savant's Academy Stars doing business as Royal Palm Beach Stars, the official youth basketball provider for the village of Royal Palm Beach. Today's date is February 20th, 2019. And just for a side note, I might have a little lisp. I have new hardware in my mouth, so bear with me. So today we'll take attendance, starting to my right.
Cheryl Sawyer, Village Liaison.
Robin Crawford, Treasurer.
Claudine Gooden Brooks, President and Acting Secretary.
Sylvan Smith, Program Director.
Xavier Smith, Secretary,
Intern.
Intern. Yeah.
All right, one of our board member at large, Dr. Robert Harrell, has called to state that he's on his way and he will be running a little late. All right, if everybody could take a look at the agenda, see if there's any changes or amendments needed. You know you want to make a change for the uniform.
I didn't get to that yet.
Sorry.
These, let's keep these off for now. I don't know those numbers right now. And this too, teeth whitening.
Oh, you have to say it to the mic.
Hmm?
You have to tell the mic.
Oh, teeth whitening. We want to remove that off the agenda. Okay, for planned activities this weekend, Publix. You can just throw that in there. 441 and Southern Boulevard.
Okay, addition for planned activities, Publix, at Southern and 441. The month,
What's that?
I just remember that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Which month do you have?
We'll get actually 4 to turn in. but-
4 months? Addition of 4 months for the financials.
So need an additional 4 months?
And treasurer.
Where's that point?
Treasurer. First page,
First page.
under reports. I only
Just the
have
monthly.
quarterlies. It should be the,
Monthly.
yeah. I usually have it on there as standard. I don't know what I did.
What happened?
I shouldn't rush.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Make a motion to approve the
And I'll second that.
Okay, on to our reports. I'll actually save my report for last because it includes the voting in of Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith Jr., Xavier Smith, and it requires Dr. Harrell to be here. So that brings us to our treasurer, Robin.
All right, so I turned in the last 4 months, including January of this year, so to Cheryl, Royal Palm Beach. There's December, November, and October's included. We had tentatively sent you the documents a little while back, but this is the most up-to-date that we picked up. We thought we had the quarterly report ready. It was done, but we picked up the computer and assumed it was in the bag, and it wasn't, so we got to go get it tomorrow.
Okay.
So we'll have the quarterly report to you shortly. That's for the last fourth quarter of 2018. And other than that, I think we're pretty good. We're got about, what do we have, Coach? 16,000 in the bank, approximately?
Yes.
Yeah. Any questions?
No.
Good.
On you straight. Okay, so on to secretary report, acting secretary. So as you can see attached to the agenda is the restated bylaws. I just wanted to attach it to this one so everybody had it. And I could have sworn I turned it off. So these are the bylaws that we will be presenting to the village. It does have the updates of our name change in it. And I'll point out as well, we do have reference in paragraph 7, the conflict of interest. I make light of that because of 2 of our board members are related. And in such actions, we will require 1 member to step to excuse themselves from that matter if we find that it presents a conflict. Hopefully, by that time, by the end of today's meeting, we'll have Mr. Smith's official signature as secretary. I don't want to overstep the shine. But if need be, I will sign it as acting secretary. And then we could always update the records to reflect his position as such. And our board report and our committee report are all combined in Savon's reports.
Well, I don't think I have a whole lot to report. I'll have more to report in our March meeting because there's still a lot that needs to be done before we start our travel basketball season. So with that being said, we do have fundraiser that we added at Publix 441 and Southern Boulevard. That's this weekend, and that's Saturday and Sunday. Again, that's Southern Boulevard and 441. As far as any other fundraiser, the next one will be in March. It's like March 16th and 17th.
Okay.
That'll be the next one, and more could be added. As far as sponsorship, we did receive sponsorship from Applebee's, 441 and Southern Boulevard. So that's ongoing. Every year Applebee's, sponsor us. So we appreciate that with Applebee's in our community, Royal Palm Beach.
All right, this fundraiser is this weekend?
Say that
Southern
again?
and 441?
Yes,
Okay.
right by Applebee's,
Okay,
by the Lowe's.
all right.
Yep.
And the listed items on our agenda are ongoing. It reflects the Publix, the relationship that we have with Publix in our fundraising efforts. I'll report from the shoot committee. It's time of the year we do collect. Bless you.
Excuse me.
It's a time of year where we do collect our players' information, and part of the shoot program will be reviewing our players' report cards to see if any tutoring or any help on the educational side will be needed. So that's from the shoot committee. I do have Dr. Rob, who will be assisting or basically leading that portion.
Okay.
And then
Yeah, that's all gonna be taken care of this Friday, the team selections, Cheryl.
Yes.
We don't have any roster. I believe I mentioned this to you, but we're mentioning it here at the meeting that our rosters will not be ready for this meeting. And because Friday, we're having a meeting with the selected players, and we'll bring in our roster once we finalize everything on Friday, so possibly by Monday.
Okay, and that'll be a tentative final because there is the potential to still add players.
Yes,
You'll keep me updated on that, and then
Yes.
I'll scan it in as you all update.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
my goodness. Okay. I thought we
Yeah.
just turned it off.
And I would also like to mention that, I'm excited that we're getting more coaches on board from Royal Palm Beach High School. And that's very exciting for me because now I can kind of step back and focus a lot on running the program as program director. I'll be there to still help out. I'm doing all my coaching, cards and everything I need to get in case. But I'm kind of stepping back so, we can get some more funds in the organization. So that'll help, by bringing on more coaches.
All right, and also Friday, their names and their background checks coming back from either the school board or what they provided
Okay.
will be updated for the background screening verification. And basically everybody was just gathering up for Friday's meeting to have their items presented. In regards to the uniform, Savon has put forth that we would like to concentrate our efforts into getting sponsorship of the uniforms. He has presented a sponsorship letter, which includes the cost of uniforms. So at this time, we do have proposals presented to the board, but we kind of want to wait, obviously, for selection and see what sizes we need as well. But before putting forth funds for the uniform, which we have reserved underneath our team budgets as is, but at this time we won't be making a decision for the uniforms. And just to note that our season will officially start March 2nd in terms of travel. On to continuing and old business. Reviewing that we had a great turnout for the tryouts. Coach Savon would like to have our athletic banquet be coupled with introducing new members to the 2019 travel season, which is a very nice idea. I had a chance to go over to the Cultural Center, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then they told me the chandelier wasn't in yet, so I'm like, wow. As is, it's beautiful. So I would hope to have our banquet there. And also to unveil the name change as well, along with our uniforms, presentation of our uniforms. Our organization has purchased insurance from Sadler's Insurance. Those policies have been presented to the village. We decided to purchase extra insurance just because at this time, under our structure, because our teams haven't been entered into the AAU and the US AAA system, our insurance was not reflecting the tryouts or reflecting the carryover players from last year. So just to cover ourselves, we purchased extra insurance to rather be on the safe side. As part of the continuing old business, we did have office supplies or anything that we need for the organization. And I just wanted to motion in up to $200 for purchase of binders or supplies that we need. With the addition of coaching, I like to make sure that each coach has a binder and they must carry it with them at all times, as the rules state in AAU and US AAA, with players' information. So I've been trying to, scrounge up a couple of binders here and there from past use, but just in case if we have to. Also, we've been using up Coach Savon's printer a lot, so I like to replenish the ink in there, because I noticed he handed the document and colors kind of faded. So if we can have a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to replenish Coach Savon's printer
And office supplies.
and office. Anybody want to second it?
Can I get a second, Coach?
Okay, I second that.
Thank you. So it's there if needed.
you.
You're welcome.
Can I get a second computer?
Actually, that will be once we replenish some funds.
I said that one for Robin.
Yeah, it seems that we purchased this 3 years ago, if I remember correctly.
It might be
And
from the beginning. No, I'm just kidding.
and it is running amok on our newly installed QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So I think there might be some compatibility issues going on. So once we square away our roster and start replenishing our funds, we will be looking into new technology for the organization. All right. I am stalling a little
I could give my report.
Yes,
Would that be good?
yes.
Okay. First of all, I was there on Friday night and peeked in a number of times. Quite an impressive turnout. I was so happy for you all because I know how much work you put into this organization, and it was just good to see the turnout. And everyone was just in the zone. Everyone was having a good time. They were being challenged. They seemed to really be enjoying the experience. I was happy to see it.
Great.
Yes.
We did, the village did submit the interlocal agreement request, and that had been for both the use of the gymnasium at the Royal Palm Beach Community High School and also at Crestwood Middle School. I've already received a response back from the high school. That was a pretty quick response, so I gather that they're filled. I forwarded that message on to Savan today. Unfortunately, they do not have any gym space available anytime during the week.
Yeah, I emailed you back. I wasn't sure if you were able to see it.
I was not, I was in a
yeah.
meeting.
Yeah, so I emailed you back and I said, if you could check to see if they have any weekends available.
Weekend dates. And Savan, what times would work with you all?
For the weekends, if we could just keep it open to whatever times that they would have available, because we don't know what they have going on.
But when I submit the request, I can't put in all hours.
Okay, so I would go from, let's say, 12 to 3. That's what I would choose.
12 to 3.
Possibility of 2 options,
Okay.
9 to 12 or 12 to 3.
9 to 12 or 12 to 3.
And that's Saturday and Sunday,
Saturday and Sunday.
or either or.
Okay. I'll put in that request as well. And Crestwood Middle School has not responded to that interlocal agreement request yet, but it hasn't been in long, so we'll see what happens over the next few days. Room E is reserved for you all to conduct your shoot program. So they'll have it set up in kind of a classroom format, and they'll put extra chairs in there in case you all have more than you expected.
Thank you.
Okay, that's room E. And I will go ahead and submit that, and all of the documentation you all have submitted has already been scanned into the system, so
Oh, awesome.
yeah, so you all are good, and then with this being scanned in, you're very much up to date, other than the one quarterly.
Hopefully that'll be 2 tomorrow.
And the annual is also something that comes due this time of the year. So just make note of the due date on that one as well.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
All right.
Well, I do want to just mention one other thing. The E-room was reserved for this Friday, and then you all will need to notify me during the week, a day or two at least before you need the room, because it's done in a reservation system, and then it's allocated out to staff to do the setups. So we need just a little advance notice. So any other Fridays that you all want, just give me a little bit of notice on it, and I'll get it in the system.
Okay. Can we have, I would like to give notice for this Friday.
Yes, and it's already in, the
Okay.
request is in, and you all have the setup all
Okay.
prepared.
Is the evening the one on the side near the kitchen?
Actually, every room was already being set up except E. E, you go down the main corridor, make a right, go all the way to the end of that corridor, make a right, and it's the last room, E
Oh, okay.
room.
All right.
You can go out that back entrance to the gymnasium if you want to, and then it's not far at all.
Okay. I have tried to stall long enough. But at this time, we will have to move our vote for secretary officially to our next meeting. In that regards, I will tender the reinstated bylaws. Over to the village.
And Claudine, this is a portion of that packet.
Yes.
That is one of the requirements, so you can
Yes, I'll
put a check mark on that
yeah,
one.
when I just looked at the document checklist. I'm like, all right, let me make sure I have that now.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that maybe you all did this in the workshop, but I think it does require a formal approval of the board to make any changes. Is that correct? to
That's
your-
correct. Hey, just on time.
Can we rewind?
Yeah, we're gonna rewrite. Definitely. If we can have, thank you. All right, and as stated earlier, board member at large, Dr. Hell, if you could state your name for the record.
Turn your mic.
Yeah. Oh,
There's a
hit your
button.
mic button.
There's a button, yeah. Light it up.
Robert Lee Harold III.
Thank you. So with, in congruence with our bylaws, I would like to officially put forth the vote to have Mr. Xavier Smith become our secretary and relieve me of these duties. May I have a motion for Mr. Smith to become secretary?
I make a motion to have Xavier Smith.
I hope I'm doing this right. However, we'll vote as well, just to cover all bases.
Well, I make a motion to vote to have
There we
Xavier
go.
Smith
Second motion.
secretary.
Thank you. And with Mr. Dale Smith being kin to Mr. Smith, he state for the record that he's recusing himself of this vote.
I'm out of this vote.
With that being said, may all of the voting members, with a show of hands, to approve Mr. Smith's position as secretary. Thank you. Any nays? Nope, we're unanimously, yeah, I told you about that. Can't get it out. We're in one accord with the vote for Xavier Smith being our secretary. Congratulations, Mr. Smith. Thank you for devoting your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for devoting your time to the organization which you basically grew up in. So it's quite honorable to see you sitting as a board member. Thank you.
Can I add something? That I could
hope
do,
you
right? That I could do, right?
Yes, you can.
With that being said, Xavier Smith being a board member, that's part of the reason why we had such a good turnout, Cheryl, when you look in the gym. Because anytime you have former players, whether family or not, being part of something that they grew up doing, other young athletes who've seen them in the gym is going to feel the need to come and participate because they know what they've gone through. and now they're giving back, whether as a board member or even as a coach, you know, so Mr. Smith is going to be here as a board member, and he's also going to help out as a coach as well.
Xavier, thank you for everything that you do for this organization.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
All right, and also to just the add on, I would like to thank Coach Alex for recruiting younger players to our organization. I had the pleasure of coaching rec this season, and the two teams allowed me to make new friends, but I really seen Coach Alex's efforts recruit beyond his team and reaching out to the little kids that were, you know, hanging around to let them know about our program. So he doesn't know I observed that, but I did. And I just wanted to thank him for that support. And I believe sometimes you have people who join an organization and then they just take what you hand them, but Coach Alex went above and beyond, and I really wanted to give recognition for that.
Yes, I second that. I also wanted to add, Claudine, that, you know, before you came to this organization, it was similar to Coach Alex and Cheryl. You guys have known me for quite some time since I've been volunteering at the Recreation Center. As cool as you see I am here, quiet and cool, calm and collective, I still drive a hard bargain to who I let be part of what we have going on here. And also because when I started volunteering for the Recreation Center, I saw the action of the village. And there's no way I just want to bring anyone to work with the village. So when it comes to screening, even though we do our background check, you guys require it. I've already been screening before the screening. So even yeah.
Takes a long time.
There is no doubt in my mind they are completely vetted.
Yeah.
Takes a long
and ask
time.
Claudine how long it took her to come on board when I got the opportunity from you guys. It took her a while. And you know, the same thing with any coach that comes along.
Yeah.
They'll tell you I'm a hard cookie. I don't.
Yeah. Like, but his credentials, what their credentials? He's like, okay. I know, just to leave it there. All right. So this brings us to the end of our meeting. At this time, we're to address summary of approvals. Are there any checks being cut tonight? No? Okay. So if you can scratch that for the summary of approvals. Our next board meeting will be March 20th, 2019 at 7 p.m. I do want to mention the coaches workshop for this Friday, February 23rd, 2019 at 7 p.m. And now the newly available room E. And our next board workshop for, well, we can't do January, correction to agenda. I just noticed that. That would be March. Okay, so that would place us at March 13th for a workshop. And I also want to state March 15th as a workshop, since Friday will be another recap of everybody being in the gym. So, Robin, we're going to drag you out for that one, too. All right. At this time, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you and have a good evening.
What's going on, Coach? What's up?